There is a fifth dimension.
A dimension of sound.
Damn it, Frank! We tell him to be quiet. I spilled my hot cup of Uranus again.
A dimension of sight.
Hey, Arch. I'm gonna sock you in the puss.
A dimension of mind.
Man, Adams, is that you?
Next stop, the Twilight Zone.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Fifth Dimension of Twilight Zone podcast. I am, of course, your host, Nick, and we're back to talk the Twilight Zone, of course, for Rod Serling's famous TV series. As always, before we begin, we do have an audio feed on Anchor and iTunes and Google Play and Music, Amazon Music and stuff like that. So if you don't want to watch us on my YouTube channel, you can definitely listen to our sultry, sexy voices on the podcast feeds. But we're back. We are officially, as of this episode recording, 2 episodes from the end of the first season of the Twilight Zone. Hooray, 36 episodes is crazy to talk about. But I don't know how you guys are going to feel about this episode. I really kind of enjoyed it, but you know, on a critical spectrum, it's comes off a little different. But as we always do, I'm going to introduce my co-hosts as we do. First up, we have Jacob, who is apparently dying of sickness as we speak. How you doing, Jacob? How you feeling as of this moment?
I'm feeling better than I did yesterday. That's for sure. I'm doing all right. I mean, I'm recouping from being deathly ill, or at least I felt like I was deathly ill. I don't know what the hell I had, but it was kicking my ass. And I think it's the same thing I had about a week and a half ago, which I don't know how that happens. We're supposed to like build up immunities to stuff. I don't know. But,
he's really making excuses. He just doesn't want to be near his family. He's like, I'm just sick.
I have the black lung, Dad.
In fact, I wanted them around. I was like, please come do stuff for me. I'm a baby when I'm sick. But yeah,
typical guy.
Oh. But I am doing better. I'm on the mend, as they say. So I fell a little bit behind on my content generation. Generation. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm on some medicine, so I might say some crazy shit. So I'm feeling better.
Even crazier. We're going full. We're going to 11 on this podcast.
Hell yeah! That was last week too.
Yes, that last week was an interesting one to edit. I'll give you that much. But the other person I have to introduce is the anal raccoon of this podcast, and that of course is Triv of Trivial Theater, who apparently likes things and places. Actually, I'm just joking, but we had fun on her stream of What the Dub, and yeah,
it turned into an ass raccoon frenzy. I was just trying to react to it.
I know. And she says, you know, sometimes you gotta put anal up there, sometimes you gotta put, you know, things in other places. You know, it's that type of situational live stream. And as much as she was complaining about the what was it, the lag. Yeah, you never go full lag, but you know, it works. So
oof, that was the thing. Happy to be here though, and I'm definitely not laggy tonight, so that's good.
Yeah. Anyways, we're doing good. We're here. We're definitely not mannequins. I can tell you that much right now. Though I do like the 1984 film Mannequin with
Mannequin 2 on the move.
Yeah.
Oof. They actually redid this episode for Twilight Zone in 85 as well.
Did they?
Yeah.
Was it good? And is Jacob? Oh, that was a Tales from the Crypt.
That was Tales from the Crypt. They didn't do any Tales from the Crypt. I looked.
They said that it was pretty close to the original storyline. The thing that where it differed was kind of Marsha's decisions at the end. She resisted what she was more so.
Yeah, we'll get into that quality ending there. This episode, of course, is season 1, episode 34, which is called The After Hours. It's directed by Douglas Hayes, written by Rod Serling. Uses the exact same music from Where Is Everybody, the first episode to ever premiere on the Twilight Zone. Production code 173-3637. So whatever that means maybe recorded in the second season. They just dropped it in the first season. Original air date June 10th, 1960. Stars Anne Francis as Marcia Whyte, Elizabeth Allen as saleswoman, James Millhollin as Mr. Armbruster, which is a terrible, terrible name. John John, and we'll talk about Mr. Armbruster and his weird kind of tics I guess you could say. But James Conwell as Elevator Man and Patrick Whyte as Mr. Sloan. So here we are talking about the After Hours, and the After Hours is an interesting episode because I really liked the episode when I first saw it. Under a critical eye, maybe not as much, but Triv, I know you've seen this episode many times before. Jacob, I guess I should ask you, did you see where this episode was going from the moment you watched it? I mean, I know it's been a while since you've probably seen it.
I remember this episode actually.
Wait,
not by name.
What? What?
I remember this.
Oh my god! Tell me,
not from the name, but once actually the name was even familiar. But when I started watching it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. She's, that, and I didn't remember like every single beat, but I remembered the basics, so I knew where it was going just because I remember that.
It's an interesting episode because it really is a Twilight Zone episode. It's it has a very interesting setup and then has an interesting payoff. How that pays off, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but yeah. So the episode opens up pretty much. It takes place in like two locations. It takes place in the department store as well as the 9th floor. We're introduced to Martha Whyte, who is played by Anne Francis, and she is an individual that seems lost in this department store. She's looking for a thimble, which what is the significance? Does anybody know the significance of this thimble? Like, what is the purpose of it? Is it like
a thimble is
like
just like not really. I mean, from a traditional perspective, a thimble is just you'd put it on your finger so when you're sewing, you don't like stick yourself. It also helps you to be able to push the back of the needle through, as compared to pushing into your finger. It pushes it through. It's like if you're sewing, it's a sewing thing. So
right,
it's just finger armor basically.
But does she seem like the kind of person that would need a thimble? I mean, I know what a thimble is,
but in the
it's
60s, I mean, everybody darned socks and did sewing and all that stuff. And a gold thimble is probably something like, because there was a lot of fancy thimbles. It's kind of like, you see people that collect like fancy spoons. It's that kind of a thing. It's just like probably more like a novelty kitschy thing than anything else.
She seemed like a shoplifter when I first saw her.
She seemed very aloof, like she didn't know.
She was like going around like,
was...
and every time somebody came up, they were like, "Hey, do you need help?" No, I'm good. And she'd walk away to be by herself and like looking at stuff. I was like, "She up to something? She's sketchy. She's casing the joint or something."
No, this has nothing to do with the actual plot. It's just, hey, here's a woman. She seems sketchy. She really wants a gold thimble, and she walks around the store and she's like looking for this thimble, and all of a sudden this elevator, I don't know what's going on with this elevator, but it is like the most gigantic looking opening for an elevator. Yeah.
Well, and when I'd forgotten, like, and it's a dumb thing to forget, but you look at the numbers going up and you've got like floors, ground, and then mezzanine, and then whatever 1 through 8 or whatever, and then you had the roof. It's like, I don't remember them going to the roof, but then the thing went past the roof and went right to floor number 9.
The roof is on fire.
Yeah. Like how was an enclosed room above the roof?
Right. I'm surprised they didn't go to like level 13 or something like that. That would have made more sense than level 9. Is there? I don't know if there's a meaning behind floor. Level 9.
Yeah, exactly.
13th floor. I mean, hell, on the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, you go to the 13th floor. So what are you doing, Rod Serling? You got to think ahead to the future. That type of thing.
He did a pretty good job. I mean, generally.
Is that thing still at Universal Studios?
Or it's at Disney. Yeah, it's still there. It's still
at Disney. Did it used to be at Universal?
No.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure it used to be at Disney. I mean, at Universal. I went to Universal in like 1993. Okay, so and that's when I wrote it. 93, 94, somewhere in there.
No, I swear
I wrote it.
I can promise you, it's. I mean, it's like 200. It's like almost 300 stories tall, or 300 feet, or whatever. So.
Yeah, I remember riding it, and like then the big drop in the end. But I swear that because I went to both Disney World and Universal that summer. That's the only time I've been, and I remember that being one of the first things I wrote at Universal. I could be wrong. I guess I'm wrong.
She goes up the elevator and she's talking to this guy who. Just random guy in the elevator. I guess they had those types of people.
He's an attendant. Yeah, he's an elevator attendant. So.
Elevator operator. He looked like Kirk Douglas.
I know, right?
Okay, this is random and it's more of a down the way thing. But was the elevator operator the same as the guy that was dressed up like a captain?
Yes.
He was.
Yes.
Okay.
So is he one of them?
There is no beer. That's why we drink it here.
So does that mean he's one of them?
Yeah.
Yes,
What we're gonna
Ubo
find out
Gobble.
later. Okay, let's Ubo. Okay.
Anyways, so he takes her up to the 9th floor. He's like, 9th floor, emptiness, because there's nothing but emptiness. Just I mean, I was like, if you don't think about where the story's going, you go, it's like, why is there is there Die Hard going on in here? Is he gonna have to fight some bad guys from Germany or something like that? I didn't know what was going on. I mean, I knew what was going on, but it's like she just goes up there and acts like there's nothing really wrong about the fact that there's nothing up here.
Yeah,
And
who
I'm
gets
like,
off that elevator?
yeah,
Really, you open
Yeah.
that door, I'm like, fuck that. No.
Way too many horror movies have been placed in this
I know,
room.
right?
Yeah.
And I mean, by the time the episode ends, it makes sense of why this is going on and why the 9th floor is like it is. But at this point, this is when we get the opening narration for this episode, which is actually really interesting. Is the way it's the cadence of Rod Serling of this episode. So
Express elevator to the 9th floor of a department store, carrying Miss Marsha Whyte on a most prosaic, ordinary, run-of-the-mill errand. Miss Marsha Whyte on the 9th floor, specialties department, looking for a gold thimble. The odds are that she'll find it, but there are even better odds that she'll find something else, because this isn't just a department store. This happens to be the Twilight Zone.
maybe the Twilight Zone was nothing but emptiness, emptiness of the soul.
It's like it looks like a fucking department store that went out of business.
I will say
But
the first
yeah.
floor is really weird. Like the way it's set up, like there's departments, but it's just like, oh, we're gonna toss this in here and toss that in there, and
I mean, I know it's the 50s and 60s by the time it's 1960, but this whole department store in general is just really weird with the people that run it and the ladies and just how everything is, portrayed. But
Keep
before
your
we get
powder
to-
dry.
exactly.
right?
Ladies, separate.
It'll
It's
do.
9:00.
But she goes up there looking for the thimble. I'm just gonna go off the assumption that the thimble is kind of like a totem, kind of like Inception for where her direction of navigation becomes, because up there, all of a sudden, just this random woman just appears out of nowhere, and she's, the main second character in this, and she's played by Elizabeth Allen, but she's given no name, and they have a discussion, and of course, the way things are playing out with, of course, Marsha and the saleswoman. Marsha's just really kind of just doesn't really have any. She's just really off. Like her whole character is like off the whole entire episode. Just something about her just seems weird and strange and all that good stuff. And
Very stiff.
Yeah.
Yeah, very stiff.
It's like she's a mannequin or something.
Yeah. Devoid of emotion.
Yeah.
She's
I
very
mean,
wooden.
that's, they
Wooden.
exactly. I mean, they talk about, how they're different when we get to that point. I mean, that inability to blend in does kind of reflect like what she is,
Well, that's what I was gonna ask. I mean, as we're watching this episode, do you guys feel that this episode has any messages behind the idea, or do you think it's just a straight up just an episode that has an interesting payoff? I guess is the question.
I mean, I think you could pull from it the fact that you can feel alone in a full space, you can feel like them versus us, and it's nice to when you can fit in. I think there's that kind of message. I don't know that it's anything revolutionary though.
I think it's just a cool episode.
Yeah.
Somebody who spent some time in a empty department store after hours, and the creepy ass mannequins all over the place.
Oh god, they were
Had
creepy.
an idea for.
Well, I mean,
Because I could say I've never spent time in a. Well, actually, I have when I was that not really doing. When I worked at Chuck E. Cheese and those fucking animatronics were in there all like after hours, just sitting there all frozen. That shit was creepy. You'd look over, I swear to God, they were moving.
Oh yeah.
So I'm sure
I mean,
mannequins are kind of the same thing.
the one I was working at Blockbuster one time, and we had turned off all the lights, getting ready to close the store, and there was a John Wayne display, like a John Wayne big cutout.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I bend over because I'm putting a couple videos away. I look up, and I swear to God, somebody was staring at me.
Oh,
It was just a cutout John
That's
Wayne.
the Duke.
I know.
The
Dude,
Duke was
churches-
staring at you.
Churches After Dark too. Oof.
Fucking.
I think anywhere
chickens.
after dark.
Well, and your brain plays tricks, and you become so much more aware of what's around you.
You know the creepiest place I've ever been after dark? A school.
Oh yeah.
My mom worked in the school system, and when I was a kid, I would go with her, and I'd be there later after everybody in that place was gone, and I'd just be walking around in the halls. This is a weird kind of new age school anyway already. It was so fucking creepy, man. It was. I swear, I'd like see kids, little kids that were smaller than me, and I was a little kid running down the halls every now and then going, and I was like, "Oh my god, fuck this shit, I'm out." Because it's all dark, the lights are out, and it's really fucking creepy at a school after dark.
That kind of happens at like the big hotel I worked at. When you're walking down the hallways and everybody's asleep because you're working overnights, and you just keep looking, you keep going.
Super eerily quiet.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but yeah, mannequins. Was it? Oh goddamn that song. Anyways, so this woman, the saleswoman, knows Marsha's name. I actually called her Martha because I thought her name was Martha. I was gonna go,
why'd you say that name?
Save Martha.
but all I could think of was Marsha. So,
I got that too. That was
I was waiting for that to happen. But she has the only item in this Die Hard scenario place is actual gold thimble. They sell it. Sorry for stopping, but the woman sells it to Marsha's character for $25 in 1960. Now the rate of inflation, which I will look up right now. Wait,
I've actually got it written down.
Oh, okay. What is the rate of inflation?
I don't know the rate of inflation, but it ended up being $242
for a gold fucking thimble.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Gold plated, no less.
Right. I was more interested in the
dented.
Tax rate because she like said 2350 or whatever, and the total was 20 or whatever she said. 25. I did the math. It was a total of 25. It's approximately a 9.75% tax. And nowadays, that's not too out there. That's kind of normal. But this was the 60s. Holy shit. They had a 9.75% tax way back then, too.
Man.
Damn.
Maybe
I don't think they expected anybody to do that, but
yeah.
Rod Serling was the Nostradamus of inflation rates.
Yeah.
He knew how expensive it was. But anyways, so Marsha buys it, somehow has $25, and she goes back downstairs. Oh yeah, the woman asks Marsha if she's happy, which Marsha tells her off. I thought it was funny. I was like, Marsha's like, pretty basically yelling at this woman for asking if she was happy. But all of a sudden the elevator door goes ding and opens, and it's the guy in the elevator. And I don't know. I thought it was good stuff, just the whole idea of just this strange scenario. You're already questioning what the whole point of the scenario is. You're kind of, going in the idea of just like, what is happening? What is this? Why is this woman on the 9th floor, for Christ's sake? When
it's like the back rooms.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? It's the black market.
She did also say about how the whole floor was open to the sales lady. She's like, you have this whole floor and this is the only item you have for sale. Like, she does question her on it.
I don't know. It's very Twilight Zone-esque, but she goes downstairs and she talks to
the elevator attendant, and she basically puts it in his face. Like, it's weird, like closed talker.
But she wants to like talk to the manager, and that's when we are introduced to Mr. Sloan and Mr. what the hell is his name? Armburster
or something like that.
Whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah, baby, I'm Armburster.
Yeah, snap into a Slim Jim.
That was James Cameron's original thing. He's like, I'm gonna have an arm burster, and it's like, no, wait, chest burster would be better.
He saw the After Hours. He's like, nope, chest burster. But I think this is a weird scene. I think this is where I started, kind of questioning this episode. Is we have Mr. Sloan, who's a very atypical store manager. There's nothing really off about him. But Mr. Armbruster is a very strange individual with very strange tics in how he enunciates things. He feels very flamboyant, and it feels like is Rod Serling once again being that progressive nature. I did a very flamboyant character, which you don't see in a lot of shows in the 1960s, or at least maybe you do. But I'm just saying, like, it's a very weird character that has very weird tics to him. I don't know what you guys think about it, if you disagree or you agree. I don't know how you feel about it.
Well, I mean, I suppose it probably wouldn't have been early 60s, but like Paul Lynde was a fixture of like comedy TV in the later 60s, early 70s, I think. But there was a couple characters that played that very, I guess flamboyant for the time type of thing. Like they had, massively so. And also the way that he operated also reminded me of, and again, this is 80s, this isn't 60s, but like Are You Being Served, the British show? that kind of takes place in a
Oh,
department
Triv,
store.
they weren't gay. They were just British.
That too. Proper British, like high end Pinky in the Air British.
Something coming out of her ears. Sorry, I derailed that. My bad.
That's okay.
No,
You was making
I mean-
good points, and I came in with some bullshit.
no, it's fine. It's fine. I'm used to it. We're doing it live. Fuck it. But no, she starts complaining about how I think she was kind of treated by this saleswoman, and she tells Mr. Sloan that he is up on that she got it from the 9th floor, and I can't remember what movie or TV show it is. He's like, we don't have a 9th floor. Like, are you crazy, woman? I mean, I just thought it was kind of it was funny how he's like weirdly smiling, telling her, she has to take it to gifts, and like, does she have the receipt? And no, she doesn't have the receipt. But like I said, she bought it at the 9th floor, and of course there is no 9th floor. So before the act ends and before the continues into the narration and the actual conclusion, she walks down to the gift. I don't know, apparently the whole returning floor is like one floor by itself, but she walks by, or she's talking to Mr. Sloan and stuff like that, and she sees the saleswoman, and as she walks up to it, the saleswoman is a mannequin. And of course she does the freak out, which is, don't they do like a pan in on her or freaking out or something like that as she
They do
passes out?
The forced zoom, which is
Yep.
dun, dun, dun.
But that's where the act ends. And I don't know, what do you guys think? Like I said, I know I've been talking for quite a bit, but like, what do you guys think about this first act? What do you guys think about the overall narrative of what's going on? Does it help the second act in any form or fashion with, like, I guess I could say, logistical purposes?
I think so. I think it leaves you with an interesting question as to what it is that you're confronting. It definitely, it says, okay, there's this point about the 9th floor. There's, you're being told by the guy that owns the place that, oh, hey, there is no 9th floor. No matter how much you'd say and try to say, hey, this is here, no one's going to believe you. And then having that, seeing the mannequin, you could go in a couple different directions. You could say, well, she's having an episode and she saw this mannequin and assumed that she bought it, kind of put the two together or something like that. I mean, there's ways you could take it in different directions at that point.
I like it when they take it in different directions. Yeah, I was liking this episode. I mean, even though I knew where it was going, I liked the episode. It was there weren't any like lulls or anything like that. It was moving along at an interesting clip, giving us just enough. We're starting to wonder, why is this, why is the lady a mannequin and what's going on here? What's with the 9th floor and all that? The 9th floor thing was kind of creepy. I think I was like creeped out by this episode more than some people are for some reason.
Yeah.
Especially as it goes on into the second part, there's some really creepy parts. It didn't end up being as creepy as I expected, but that's more on the second half. I'm with you on the thimble thing. I am curious to know if there is some type of like significance beyond it just a thimble. If there is some type of like, what I know what a thimble is and what you do with it, but like if it has some other like traditional meaning or something, to like give someone a thimble means this or that or something. Maybe I would be interested in looking into seeing what that is, and maybe there's some type of that might make some sense. Maybe like part of her pilgrimage that we know that she's on when she comes back, giving that to someone. Maybe that means something. I don't know, but maybe I'm reading into it too much.
Give me a second and I'll look it up here.
But
It does
yeah,
say
I
that
was
she's
enjoying
getting
it
a
at this
gift for
point.
her mom, so maybe her mom. I mean,
Yeah.
we
Well, but
know
here's
that.
the
Whose
thing,
mom?
given what we know, how could she give a gift to her mom?
Well, but
And-
that leads into the whole idea of like her thinking, and whether, like I said, I think the gold thimble is like a totem for her going back and remembering things. But
Does everybody forget when they go out? Like when they go out on their little, I mean, we'll talk about that more in a minute.
So from a Shakespearean perspective, thimbles were commonly associated with the rituals of courtship at this time. As a token of his love, a man may give his beloved gifts or trifles, such as a thimble, a pair of gloves, a handkerchief, or a ring. There's also thimble dreams, which to lose one foretells poverty and trouble. To see an old and broken one denotes that you are about to act unwisely in some momentous affair.
I need to keep that stuff in mind.
So take any of that as you will.
Well,
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
what the significance is to this story, but good to know.
I mean, when they're in the elevator, she notices that it's broken and busted and stuff. And obviously that's to keep her in the department store longer. But from a Thimble Dream perspective, having one that's busted means that it's denotes an unwise move. So depending upon your perspective on what happens next.
So
Thimble.
anyways, we come back from the episode. Oh, actually, no, let me track back. So I like I like what's going on here. I like that it's very Twilight Zone-y, so you're not actually given full information until a little bit later on. But I like it. It has set up. It has some kind of MacGuffin, which is the thimble. It has all these things working for it, and the whole idea of her passing out and stuff like that, and the mannequin is very intriguing. It does leave open some really interesting things that could be happening.
Did you remember this episode?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I saw this episode.
Okay.
I saw this episode like a few months ago, actually.
Okay,
Nice.
because that was since we all remembered it, I was just curious if anybody saw where it was going at all, but we all remember it, so it's kind of hard to say.
Yeah.
But that's good because you find you can actually move past the actual revelation and actually see some stuff in the background and some of the forefront stuff.
Mhm.
So we come back. She's apparently resting on a couch because she's freaked out and passed out, as all women do apparently in the Twilight Zone or TV in the 60s. You go, and you pass out onto a couch.
Oh.
Can you imagine
women
being
do
in?
that.
Can you imagine being in a department store and you see a woman go, you just see her it's because the camera is like a person, and just like the person watching just pans in real quick onto the lady.
But see, the camera
It's
pan
like-
actually hits her in the face and knocks her out because it hits her.
Yeah, it's
Like
it's like
UHF.
the Sam Raimi of episodes.
There you go. I will say,
Remy King.
I definitely learned a new technique with this. So you freak out and then you pass out and then
Freak
you get
out.
anything that you want,
Yeah.
according to that particular store clerk or store manager guy.
Just get her
Apparently
what
if you-
she wants, get her the hell out of here.
Yep.
Well, apparently,
I'd
if you
rather
freak
give her
out,
a
you get-
bus ticket to anywhere west of Cincinnati,
I know,
Chicago, LA, Hawaii.
But if you pass out, you get a free night stay at a department store apparently, because they
That's
decide that they're
still-
going. Well, that's the funny part. Like they're getting ready to close up, and Ambrosio's like Armbruster, whatever his name is. He's like, don't forget that woman. Don't forget to tell her to to leave the store. And the woman's like, okay, I won't. And then like 3 seconds later, she forgets, walks off, and that's when Marsha wakes up to basically complete the story that is going on here. But I have a question for you guys. Do you think Marsha waking up, do you think she actually woke up, or do you think this is kind of an alternate dimension? Do you think she actually woke up when the store is closed, or do you think something else is happening?
That's the thing. I'm not sure about the 9th floor. Is that a place? Is that a thing? Or is that just, is there like some tear in reality where they can be real people? Or is that just like the storage area where they are? Or I don't know. I don't think we're supposed to understand it, but I have no idea.
I mean, if you look at even just like the elevator, no one seems to see the elevator there except for her. So I would say that it's probably like not a higher conscience, but like a place that only they can reach. Because you see all them, like you see them down on the shop floor, but then you also see them on the 9th floor. So the same mannequins. So I'm sure that there's something, out in the ether as to what that is.
Yeah, what are they? I mean, are they like the Santa Clauses in that Doctor Who episode for Christmas?
They kind of are.
Is this a 1408 situation where like they don't talk about the 9th floor because they don't want people to go up there because they know weird and crazy things happen in the 9th floor, like spooky things, I guess.
Well, you'd be hard
know.
pressed to get to the 9th floor when it's above the roof accordingly.
Well, I mean, that's why we don't talk about 9th floor.
We don't talk about Bruno.
I didn't say that.
It's kind of like a train station in Harry Potter. It's just like it's there, but it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Run into a fucking wall. And
The real question you got to ask yourself is what kind of spell or possession did they get put under to have this happen to them? Like
There was
were they
there was
people?
stuff.
Were they,
Go ahead. Sorry.
no, I say were they real people at one point?
no, they're fucking wooden man. This is like the Blue Fairy came and made them all real boys and girls.
Oh, they are
For a
made of
month.
wood.
It was Geppetto. Maybe Ambroster's Geppetto. Maybe he carved
There you
them.
go. And this is back a bit, but I kind of wrote it down because I thought it was funny. The Armbruster's management technique is so inefficient that the lady doesn't listen to him at all and just leaves leaves just Marcia to sit there and fall asleep and
Right.
like,
Yeah, she
wake
forgets
up
like
half
3
an hour
seconds
later.
later.
Yeah, but it goes to show that Armburster probably shouldn't be doing what he's doing. He should be a
Yeah, he's not a
wrestler.
very good manager. He tells people what to do, but that's not management. You have to follow up. And you gotta like tell and follow. Follow up with your people.
Exactly.
See if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. He wasn't doing that. He failed as a manager that day.
He sounds like a sales manager to me.
Oh no, he sounds very much like a lot of managers out there in the service industry.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to deal with anything. He tells someone else to do it and just leaves it and says, "Oh yeah, well I told them to do it."
Nice.
Many managers.
Tell us what you really feel.
If I did that, I would never have a job.
Oh God.
Would never be
Hey,
hired anywhere ever again.
I don't. So.
Oh shit. Okay, so Marsha wakes up, like I said, she pretty much wanders back to the elevator because she's like, actually no, is she does she get back in the elevator or no, that's
Eventually.
she walks over to the elevator.
To it actually.
Yeah, she tries to get into through the exit. It's locked. She's calling out for people, and then the elevator opens and she gets in. She's crying to herself in the elevator, and it reopens to the 9th floor. And this is what you would call a jump scare moment, because all of a sudden, the saleswoman mannequin is just standing there in front of the elevator. So you're like, if back in the 60s, I can imagine this being like a real good jump scare moment, because TVs were like 4 inches in diameter, so you're kind of squinted up, and all of a sudden just mannequin appears.
There's actually a better jump scare before that, or a creepy moment right before that, when she's downstairs and she starts freaking out because she starts like hearing her name and she sees these mannequins. That one mannequin's arm just kind of goes like that. And
Oh
moves.
yeah.
Yep.
And she's like, "Wah!" and like runs off, which is an appropriate reaction.
Right,
there's also the mannequin, like the guy mannequin who's got like the squinty eyes and it's super close on his face. It just has one of those creepy mannequin faces.
Yeah.
And I think they have more than one of each person, because we see the unless they can teleport to the 9th floor, we see them downstairs, and then we see the same exact people upstairs. And anyways, the saleswoman comes to life and comes over and comforts Marsha's character. And this is basically the big ultimate reveal of this episode, where the saleswoman goes, "Do you remember?" And Marsha at first doesn't remember, but as she's walking, all of a sudden all the mannequins come to life, which after watching Elegy, they actually do a nice job here of not making the mannequins look like they're moving, even though they're like real people. Like you watch the Elegy, if you remember,
they got distance.
They're like moving back and forth and stuff like that. But they all come to life, and they're all kind of swarm over Marsha's character, and it slowly starts to come back to Marsha that she reveals that she is, as we've talked about, a mannequin. She is a individual who is a prop. You put clothes on to sell items and stuff like that.
Mm.
And
She's an
I
Egyptian princess that was.
I know, right?
And
She's all you have to do is put the necklace on and stuff like that. But
so the circle, like they show you all the other mannequins and they all have
jerk?
like the same, yes, they have the same creepy smile, but then you get like the two guys that are like skiers. It looks like they've got luchador
or some shit.
Yeah, I thought they looked like they had luchador masks on.
I was just waiting for Hollywood to show up. Anybody get that reference? You're old like me. Oh my goodness, girl. No, this right here.
Oh, he turned into Armburster.
Yeah, that's true.
Or we had his significantly less cool cousin.
This is Mannequin 3, No More Moves.
Oh God. I love that movie's so bad but so good.
Walk like
anyways it's slowly revealed that Marsha, like every mannequin, is I don't there's a lot of mannequins, so I don't know how they have time to do each month, or they do it on like rotation. But Marsha was given, like every mannequin, a month to go into the real world, to be a real human person, to be a real live woman or a real live boy, that type of thing. And I
got questions about that, by the way.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Same.
But she forgot. Apparently, she was a day late, $1 short, or something like that. And if I was a saleswoman, I'd be like, "That's fucked up. You made me lose a day, you son of a bitch." And so basically
You're going in
mannequin-
February next year, bitch.
We're giving you a week. We're giving
And
you
it's
1
leap
week.
year.
Exactly.
But no, but like it basically reveals that the saleswoman is the next to go to, be a real live woman or whatever. And I can, I have questions about what they do. When she leaves the store, do they go like strip clubbing or do they go to,
Come on,
menswear?
you know what they
do
do.
they find themselves a man?
You know what
like,
they do.
They get kiki all night.
For a solid month.
You know what they do.
If you've been wooden for so long and you see all these like high attractive people, you're going.
That's the problem. They've been wooden for so long. They got to go take care of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, why do you think there's like that bump on the crotch area? They're squirt. I'm going a weird. No, but so yes, so each month somebody one of these mannequins gets to go out and do what they do, but like that's pretty much the end of the episode. Marsha's back where she belongs, and the other mannequin guy, the whatever his name is, he's slowly walking towards her, and she pauses, and that's the end of the episode.
So much fun. Yeah, I actually really like the way that they did that. How she resumes the position, and then like you go downstairs when they reopen, and Armburster like walks past, and he does the whole like double take, and that was that was a little bit of humor at the end. I kind of enjoyed that.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's like I said, we moved through the episode pretty quickly, but it's not what I would call a slow paced episode. It moves like even though it's 24 minutes, it moves. But I mean, you said you had some issues, Jacob.
I just got questions. I mean, we find, I mean, they say that, we get to go out for a month and live amongst them, and that's fine because they leave that vague enough to where it's it's opened up. They don't give like any specifics, but then in the closing narration, they say that they get to go out 1 month out of the year every year.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and they're only going one at a time. So there's only 12. There's more than 12 mannequins in there. Who's getting the shaft? Because if they get to go 1 month every year, I mean, somebody's getting the shaft there, and those people are pissed. I feel like there's going to be a mannequin uprising against the mannequin hierarchy or something.
The one in the ball gown or the one in the bride's dress is the one that leads the charge.
Yeah. So my ultimate thoughts on this episode, especially with the episodes we've been dealing with more recently, they typically have a lot of subtext and underlying themes and all this stuff, and we're kind of programmed to look for that stuff now. I don't think this one did. I mean, there's probably something. If you look at the closing narration, also it talks about how normal are we, who's normal, what's normal, and that person you say good morning to and hi and all that. What do you really know about them? There's that, but that's about as deep as it goes. I think this was just a neat little episode.
Yeah.
That somebody thought, man, the mannequins are creepy in these places. I wonder what it's like at night when nobody's around, and they're humanoid objects. Exactly. They're humanoid objects that human beings see, and we automatically have some type of connection, a bit of a connection to that humanoid object, more so than if it was just like a hanger. So we start to wonder, what does it do in its free time? Question is nothing, but in Twilight Zone, they go out and live amongst the people. Sure, you're like, how does this work? Why does it work? Why is there like a spell? I like the fact that they didn't explain it, because I feel like if they had tried to over explain it, would have just been that over explanation, and it would have killed it, because I think they were just trying to tell a simple little classic Twilight Zone story. There's this little quirky thing that happens, and here's the twist in the end of what's really going on. I didn't really think there was anything beyond that. Yeah. I mean, you guys may say something and change my mind, so let's see there.
I agree. I think outside of the fitting in thing, which I think, like I said last week, you take from this, or you take from this what you bring into it. So if you can relate to this, to Marsha, you kind of wander through and say, well, no place I fit, but then you find that place that you fit, and then you have to, like, if it's summer camp or a college experience or a job or whatever, you have those moments where you feel like you fit, and then you go back to the way you were previous. It's reforming accordingly. Not that fits so well here, but it sort of does. But other than that, I mean, I didn't see anything that was overwhelming. It wasn't racism or child abuse or anything. There wasn't anything overtly deep. in that respect.
Felt like a relief episode. I mean that like it felt like an episode where I don't think it's what I would call the greatest episode ever created, because it doesn't, like you guys said, really have a lot of meaning behind it. But I think it's an episode like we're getting into
Entertaining.
episodes.
Yeah.
We're getting into episodes like this and the last couple episodes where they don't feel like they have a lot of logic behind it. They're just like, here's an episode about a robot that pitches for baseball, or here's an episode about a guy who can write out different characters, and then we have this episode. So I feel like
It's a neat
like,
idea
you know,
that somebody made a
Mhm.
short out of, and that's as far as I went with it.
yeah,
That's
They
okay.
might
so
have. You could almost like if you look at it the way that well, like we talked about, before we came on stream, like The Walking Dead. It's there's those banger mid credit or mid season and end of season episodes. This is kind of doing the opposite of that. It kind of front loaded and mid season loaded these really hard hitting episodes, but it's kind of
Yeah.
like hitting it like it's kind of like easing it off like a slope down as compared to a slope
Right.
up.
Yeah, which is fine. Like I said, we don't have to always have the monsters that do on
No.
Maple Street every episode. Sometimes we can have a Mr. Beavis or the Chaser, or just something though sinister in its own feeling in its own right. Still is, just an episode about a woman who turns out to be a wooden mannequin.
Yeah.
She the early stages of Kim Cattrall. That type of thing. So
I
I
do
mean,
wonder
that's-
though, do they all lose their memory when they leave like she did? Was that a recent development? Like the whole time she was out there, she thought she was this other person?
she is also
Where does she live?
That's what I was
They
wondering
have like
too.
a
Those
house
yeah, they have like a
that they all go to.
house.
Yeah, I mean, is there like a mannequin underground or something like that going on? It's kind of like John Wick. They have like a hotel where only mannequins are at, and that's where they
If it-
converge.
If it rains, do they like rot? I mean, they start rotting
Mhm.
away or something like that. Like
Well, they got
do
that nice veneer on the outside,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, I would say it's probably a case of she got caught up in what she was doing because she just kept, she repeated there at the end how much fun her time out in the real world was. So it's
Yeah.
probably based around that kind of.
But she kind of accepts it too, because then she just goes into her pose.
Yeah.
That's why the question I have that remains: do you think there was something inside her that brought her to? She thinks, "Oh, I'm getting a thimble for her mother," but do you think it was just somehow there's like a stick in the ground that brings her back, like a pole of some sort, a totem or some sort that
That makes sense.
brings them?
Yeah.
Well, look at
she was late.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying because she was late. So yeah, I was agreeing.
I think you could even say like, birds migrate or, like monarch butterflies go to the same place, even though they have never been there in their life. There's that intrinsic need to return.
So that is the After Hours, an episode that is interesting to watch. I'll give it that much. So
Entertaining.
Yeah,
Yeah, very
it
much.
does its job. It's not it's not something I'm going to remember like a week from now, but I always
Oddly-
watch it when it's on.
Oddly
What's
enough,
that?
I remember it 20 years later. But
That's
it
certainly one of
wasn't
the
a-
ones
I think
that,
it's the mannequin thing that made me
Mhm.
remember it.
yeah,
that-
agreed.
For some reason, stuck with me.
Well, and I think too,
Yeah.
like this is one that not that I don't know how to say this. So, there are we've had so many flight or space episodes per se. But if you were to lay out, even now, if you were to lay out the names of them and say, match the plot or what was the plot of this one, by and large, I couldn't tell you. But then you take an episode like this, and I could say, oh yeah, it's about mannequins, or it's about this, or it's about that. This one stands out because there aren't 5 other episodes that are set in a department store.
True. That, and I have an unhealthy obsession with Mannequin and Mannequin 2 on the move.
Oh, that's
Well, I was
fair.
going to say every mannequin product takes place in a store. It's like
True.
some sort of
It's
I
like where
know.
you see them. It's like that's the only place you really see them.
That, or in that game from 2005 or 6, Condemned Criminal Origins,
oh God,
where
don't
you
even
go
start on
to
that.
a store much like this one after hours, and mannequins just start showing up all around you, and it's really fucking creepy. I
How
wonder
about
if they were
fucking-
inspired by this episode at all.
I'm sure a lot
about-
of it did.
The opening of Resident Evil 7, when you're up in the attic and all of a sudden the mannequins start moving and shit.
Yeah, that kind of shit. See, mannequins,
Yeah.
man, they're just fucking. They're like clowns. They're just fucking creepy, man.
Yeah, they did a good job making these creepy too. Like they genuinely, and I'm sure that's probably what mannequins looked like at the time. But holy crap!
I did want to say there was a thing, and they talked about how the mannequin, her mannequin, in the end of the episode where it zooms in on her, people were like, "Oh, is that really her? Just like standing really still?" But no, that was an actual mannequin. It did look really damn good.
Yeah.
And it was just a painted mannequin, but she said it was like the face part was like a death mask that they molded onto her and all that. And like that was a mold of her face. And they did paint it. But still, man, that looked really damn good for a 1960s TV show. I mean, that looked almost just like her face. I mean, the right angle was like, yeah, that's her. Oh no, that's wood.
I thought the mannequin. Sorry.
The mannequins' faces were created by makeup artist William Tuttle, who is famous for doing stuff like Young Frankenstein and Logan's Run and North by Northwest and then Fury and stuff like that. So he's apparently very, very famous.
Some of them didn't look as good. I mean, some of the other mannequins you see them, and it's like, oh, they let their kids do that one. But
no, you definitely got
hers in particular looks great.
Yeah. The shopkeeper, like the one that went out next, I thought when her mannequin showed up, it looked really good too.
Yeah, hers did look good. It looked like her. I mean,
yeah.
I will say these mannequins all look like the actors that were portraying them.
I did have one other thought on this, and I'm trying to work it through in my head. You could make the case, and I know that we said that there wasn't much deeper, and I still believe that, but if you really wanted to take it in that direction, it's like when you look at a piece of toast and see, the Virgin Mary or whatever, but like you could look at this and you could look at this and say, with everything that was going on, and Nick, you sort of brought this up, are there minds on another plane of existence, or are the mannequins actually coming to life? You could take this quite a bit deeper, but I don't know how you would take it deeper in a 24-minute thing. So that's over explaining it though. So that's better that they didn't.
I mean, yeah, Jacob has mentioned it before. Maybe we're taking this way too into whatever that word's called. Maybe we're looking at this way too in depth more than Rod Serling. That's funny about some of these episodes. Like maybe we're going too far into but that it's possible, very possible. So,
but we're looking at them from a critical eye. So I think you take it, not that you want to take it to a nitpicky place, but I think it's very easy to take it deeper than what was intentioned.
Right,
as long as you take it, that's all that matters.
Oh, you can go ahead and take it too.
Anal raccoons taking it deeper. Part 2.
Got my little human hands.
Anal raccoons that have unionized.
Oh God.
Rocket Raccoon is their union leader.
Yeah.
The raccoons from Dan Aykroyd John Candy movie, The Great Outdoors.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Where they shot that bear in the ass in the end. Yeah.
Glorified trash pandas.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God.
Until they attack you. Okay. So let's wrap this out.
Marsha Whyte in her normal and natural state, a wooden lady with a painted face, who 1 month out of the year takes on the characteristics of someone as normal and as flesh and blood as you and I. But it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Just how normal are we? Just who are the people we nod our hellos to as we pass on the street? A rather good question to ask, particularly in the Twilight Zone.
Normal is a setting on a dryer.
And it's definitely not a setting in Miami. So
I thought you were talking about like sitting on a dryer. I was like, what?
That too. Well, it's more fun to sit on
I
was going to say. It's more fun to sit on a washer.
Let's go into the Twilight Zone list, the list that nobody can ever create because we have a perfect list, and no episode, even per chance to dream, will ever be changed.
Wow.
So I have a place. I would put this above Elegy, but that's me. Where would you guys put it?
I was going to put it around like between 16 and 18, just because it kind of left me feeling the same way as Beavis. Like it isn't as heartwarming of an episode, but it is still that kind of an odd duck of an episode. So yeah, I'm right in there about the same.
Yeah, I think I'm with Dick. I liked it more than Elegy. Execution.
Dictaphone.
Yeah, man, that's great. I think Execution was a better story. This was entertaining, but had a little bit more to it. But ironically enough, I think I've already said this, some of the execution I didn't think was done very well. Or it was kind of messy, especially closer to the end. It got kind of messy closer to the end. So, I mean, I'd be okay with it taking Elegy's spot, but if it went above Execution, I wouldn't mind either.
Would you put it above Passage for Trumpet?
That's the one we watched 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
He played
I mean,
tonsil
I
hockey
would-
with his trumpet.
right?
He's deep throating that trumpet.
I wouldn't.
Admittedly,
I wouldn't. That's me.
I think that that's probably a better episode than this, but I would rather watch this episode than that one.
Mhm.
But I do acknowledge that that's probably a better episode all over overall. So yeah, I'm leaning 17, 16, 17.
I'm good with that.
Which one, Trev? 16 or 17? I'm leaving you up to
16.
Pretty much, is it better than Execution or not?
I'd rather watch this one than Execution.
Yeah, Execution was just had this really it had some good stuff in it, but there was just something about the execution of it. It just seemed like it got messy and cluttered.
It did.
Like halfway through.
It was
I liked
an odd
what it
little
was
episode.
doing. Yeah, I liked what it was doing. I liked the story, but it was just messy.
Mhm.
I mean, I would put it above Perchance to Dream as well. I just want to throw that out there. I know I keep saying I'm going to stop saying this and talking about it, but I can't help it.
That's okay.
As long
And
as
I'll
it's in the
take-
top 10, I can't help it.
I take full responsibility for changing Nick's mind on that one. I'm sorry.
I know. I take full responsibility for blaming Trev for taking over Nick's mind.
Why don't you just go
Um,
watch 16 millimeter Shrine?
No.
Oh, fine.
No.
Okay, then.
What? No.
Okay. Okay,
Maybe
fine
I need
then.
to
You
watch.
can-
I need to rewatch. I think I have watched the Perchance to Dream episode because it was before I was on. But maybe I didn't want. I need to rewatch that episode. Maybe I will be convinced. Maybe I'll
Maybe.
see something in it then and be like, okay, I don't hate it as much. Because
You
right
got
now,
Cat
I
Lady.
really dislike that
Oh,
episode.
that's fair. That's fair.
I acknowledge the cool stuff in it, but
The
overall,
laughing lady on the roller coaster. It's good
Yeah.
times.
every bit of this dream stuff I hated. I was
That's
just
See,
like,
and those
whole
were the
episode.
parts that
Go
I
to hell,
liked
that's
the
the whole episode.
best. I don't know. I'm a weirdo.
now all the stuff like where he's like, oh, waking up and jumping out the window. I love that because he fucking died.
We're gonna have
I
to
think
do,
it was just as much the fact that they kind of focused on the suicide pact. Like it was a legit, like it wasn't like a fever level stilliness. It was like full on, run towards the window,
Yeah.
jump your ass out and kiss everything goodbye.
We're gonna have
Maybe in real
to-
life, you jumped at one of those windows, you just rebound back off and fucking
True.
ground.
we're gonna have to do a ranking of the best falls in the Twilight Zone.
The fever
few.
is number one.
Yep, absolutely.
Are we
Okay.
doing falls or falls and hits? Because if hits, we know which one wins that.
Yeah. Okay. So with that said, Judgment Night leaves the first page list, goes to the second page, which now joins with the Warriors Everybody, 16 millimeter Shrine, 4 of Us Are Dying, and the Fever. And with that said, where did I go? No, okay. New number 16 is the After Hours. Once again, bottom place, the Fever is number 34. Monster Due of Maple Street is number 1.
So how long do you guys think that the fever will stay in the last place? Do you think we're going to
Well-
watch something anytime soon? Because you guys have a little bit better memory of like these earlier episodes than I do. Do you think we're going to see anything worse than the fever anytime soon?
Well, I might have something for you
There's
there,
The
Jacob.
mighty Casey.
The next
ever.
the next episode is season 1, episode 35, which is called The Mighty Casey, which is directed by Robert Parrish and Alvin Ganzer, written by Rod Serling, stars Jack Warden, which is a famous actor.
I hope I love it.
I don't know if it's gonna be as bad as the Fever, but
I hope I love it. We need that
uh,
episode where one of us just absolutely hates it and one of us just loves it. There's got to be one. I hope this is it. I hope I'm just like, man, this episode is amazing.
all right. So with that said, we'll talk about The Mighty Casey next week. I don't have high hopes for this episode.
Well, you didn't
But-
have high hopes for Mr. Beavis either, and we changed your mind.
Did you though?
Or forced
Well,
you.
we forced you into a position of submission.
I mean, not
You
really.
are
I
our
mean,
bitch.
If you think about
Submit.
it's gonna hit number 20 eventually at some point. So
Maybe
I'll still win. I'll still win.
you never
um,
said that was your goal. You wanted it to be the bottom. That's not the
I
same.
do.
It's a top right now, bitch.
Exactly.
All right. Let's get out of here. I know everybody wants to rest. It's late. Actually, we're running on pretty good time for how we usually are. So
Yeah,
we're doing pretty well. But
I haven't been as
Jake-
talkative this week. Sorry.
that's okay.
nah, it's all good. We know you're dying. So next week you'll be like chipper and it'll be like a 4-hour episode. So it'll be all good.
Well, and this
but
isn't
Jake-
the Beavis episode either, so
Yeah, we got a lot out last week.
This is but anyways, Jacob if they want to find you and give you some of that good old loving to make you feel better, where can they find your content?
You can find my content at Jacob Anders Reviews on YouTube. And yeah, that's where I do movie reviews and stuff, and more stuff coming soon. Also have a gaming channel, Jacob Anders Gaming, and over on Twitter at Red Neville 2, where I talk about the stuff on YouTube.
Sensing a trend.
Yeah. I have a focus. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
And Triv, when the army of raccoons want to find your anal sphincter, where can they find you?
Oh wow. Not sure how to respond to that.
Or when they want to find the anal cavities of your YouTube channel.
You're calling my movies or my reviews shit?
I never
The
said that.
anals. The anals of her YouTube channel.
Well,
We love you, Triv.
if you want to see several movie or reviews of several movies that have been considered shit, you can step over my channel here on YouTube. It's Trivial Theater. You can also find me on Twitter, also now at Trivial Theater. So I've got actually my first FMV video game coming up, collab coming up here. So that should be an interesting thing if I can pull it together and make it not suck. So stay tuned for that soon.
Hey, we expect you to go not suck, but to blow. So
Oh, good
you'll
Lord.
blow it out of proportion.
I've gone
So,
from suck to blow.
Yes. Go from suck to blow.
Am I Mega Maid?
Back to suck sometimes.
Yeah.
So anyways, you can reach me at Movie Emporium. That's where these videos are held when they go off the rails and stuff like that. Also, I will be putting up my Top Gun Maverick review as of posting this video, so look out for that. Once again, you can find us on audio feeds like Anchor and iTunes and Google Play and Amazon Music. But other than that, that's it. We're out. And for myself, Triv, and Jacob, we'll see you guys next time in the Twilight Zone. Peace out.
Bye.
The shop is now closed.
Triv, I think the drugs are working on Jacob.
I was gonna say it's a Mandela effect.
I mean, back then I was doing drugs too, but they were like different.
Well, you guys have both
expanding
one
stuff.
on me. I've never been to either place. Never been to Florida, period.
I keep inviting you, but you're
I
like,
know. I
"Ah,
get it.
time for this.
It's not my fault. I
She's
can't. I
afraid
can't.
of the heat. Afraid of the
Yeah,
heat
because
down
it
there.
doesn't.
Like, I'll
Because
melt.
it doesn't get hot here. Not even remotely. It doesn't get 90 plus, 100% humidity here at all.
Yeah, you guys, you wait until like summer.
Yeah,
I mean,
because we're
our summer
intelligent.
starts in January.
Yeah, we also have negative.
I don't know
15.
if I ever had no summer.
Oh, it's true.
Don't really have winter. We just kind of have summer and like I don't know.
A week of winter.
Dude,
if
we have
that.
like 18 seasons. It's like,
Springish.
okay, we've got like winter, and then we have fake spring, and then we have more winter, and then we have more fake spring, and then we get spring for like 2 weeks, and then we get like early summer, and then we get like super hot summer, and then it gets cold, and then it gets back hot again, and then yeah, it just goes on like that. We're indecisive. We like change.
Sound like
Etc.
Ohio to me.